Okay, well, looks like we just have one person, and that's fine. I get a lot of people that watch the replay. So we will go ahead and get started. As always, welcome to Tuesday Talk with Bim Group. I'm Deanna Sizemore, your host for today. And every other Tuesday when we meet, we gather together to talk about all things compliance. We talk about anything up and coming, and we also open forum for questions. So if there's something you have top of mind that you want to ask, this is a great opportunity to have that. And there are no stupid questions because it's compliance and it's hard and it's complicated, and we'll get through it. So today we don't have a lot of changes, but I do want to talk about the COBRA subsidies because we did get some FAQs from the COBRA subsidies, on the COBRA subsidies from the IRS. If I can get that out right. So first and foremost, just a reminder that July 19th of this year, EEO1 reporting is due. August the 2nd, the PCORI fee is due. If you have a self-funded plan, a self-funded HRA plan, if you have a MEWA plan, you are, and fully insured for that matter, you're responsible for filing a PCORI fee. However, for fully insured groups and HRAs that are integrated with a health plan, the carrier does that for you. Self-funded groups, self-funded HRAs, the employer has to do that. There will be an email coming out from your account manager or account executive at BIM in the next couple of weeks that will give you the specifics on what you need to pay, how you need to pay it, and provide any reporting if it's available in the past. And that's just a reminder that fee is usually due the end of July. However, July 31st falls on a weekend, so it's now due August 2nd for this quarter. And that is all done on IRS Form 720. On same date, August 2nd, if you have a ERISA calendar year plan, your 5,500 filings due. If BIM handles your 5,500 filing through our partner ABV, which is now Wrangle, those are all in the works and in process, and hopefully in the next few days here you'll be able to start seeing those to sign off. Not next few days, next couple of weeks you'll see the sign off on those. You'll be sent an email from Wrangle that will say, here's your 5,500 for review, and you can review it and sign it all at once. So be on the watch out for that if BIM handles your 5,500 filing. If BIM just works with another partner like McGregor or BMS or CXC or whomever that may be, Charles Snyder, that process hasn't changed. We gather the schedule information, we send it to them, and you'll work directly with them to sign off on everything. We did get recently new HSA contribution amounts for the 2020 calendar year. So in January 2022, the current HSA contribution limit for self-only coverage will go from $3,600 to $3,650, and for family will go from $7,200 to $7,300. That's very much in line with what is done in the past. The out-of-pocket maximum for high-deductible health plans is also increased. It's going from $7,000 to $7,050 for self-funded, and $14,100 for family. ACA on the individual side has for the first time increased out-of-pocket maximums for individuals and family. So if you've got someone that's on one of those plans, know that that's the first time ever in ACA history that they've increased those maximums. The other thing before we get into COBRA subsidies is the IRS recently issued guidance under Notice 2021-26, and it is in reference to the dependent care benefits. Part of the American Rescue Plan allowed employers to optionally increase the annual limit of the dependent care account to $10,500 for 2021, and as well as increased carryover amounts or extended claims periods for dependent care accounts for 2021 and 2022. The new IRS guidance just clarifies that those carried over amounts and anything subject to the extended claims period will not be considered when applying the annual DCAP maximum contribution for a subsequent plan year. So they'll disregard any carryover, any increased amounts for that. So that notice does have some good examples on it. So feel free to look that up if you've got some questions. I think we'll also be sharing it on our BIM blog post as well. The other thing is HHS is beginning to enforce Section 1557 of the ACA. This was the Non-Discrimination Act. It clarifies and prohibits discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. Section 1557 prohibits healthcare providers and health plans from discriminating against individuals on the basis of race, color, national origin, age, sex, and disability. So they are starting to enforce that. I'll also briefly mention that we talked about this in a UBA webinar recently, and I believe I may have mentioned it as well, the Mental Health Parity Act non-quantitative treatment limitations. That is the employer's responsibility to ensure that your health plan meets the non-qualitative treatment limitations under the Mental Health Parity Act. We are checking with our carriers and third-party administrators to see what their plans are, what they are doing, how they're covering it. Basically, if you're with Humana or United or Anthem, if you have a standard plan with no changes to it, no exceptions, no special benefits, not even one variance in that benefit, all three of those carriers on the fully insured side have said their standard plans are compliant, and if you get a letter asking for information or you need proof of that, to work with your carrier so you can work with your account manager, account executive at BIM. On the self-funded side, we know that one of our third-party administrators is not really doing anything on behalf of the employer, and we are looking into that to see if what other ones are doing and if it's something that we can partner up with someone with. On Anthem, they will do it upon request. So there's a couple of outliers there that we still need information on, so stay tuned for more information. All right, before I go on, do we have any questions? Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything, because I, for some reason, can't see comments today. And I'm trying to watch on my computer screen behind my phone. Okay. So we did get IRS notice 2021-31 on May 18th. So it's been right at 2 weeks now. And it's from the IRS. It's 86 questions and answers regarding COBRA subsidies. Some things in there were rather surprising. So I want to talk about a couple of those. One, and I thought this one was very interesting. If an employee, an employer have a conversation and the employer says, hey, we're going to terminate your employment. And the employee who says, I'm still able to work, I want to work, whatever, but I don't want you to fire me because I don't want to have that on my record. Can I just quit? If the employee and employer agree that that employee who was to be terminated and in all other scenarios could still work, quits his or her job, that is considered an involuntary termination and eligible for the COBRA subsidy. I know. So, what we've learned from the Q&A is that you have to look at each individual circumstance and really weigh that decision. One of the questions was if someone's on extended disability on COBRA. So they've gone through their 18 months. They're in the additional 11 months they get before they move over to SSI or whatever that may be. If they're in that 11-month window, if that original qualifying event back at the very beginning was involuntary, they're eligible for the subsidy for those 6 months. So in a lot of cases in a leave of absence, it is an involuntary term. In a lot of cases, not all cases, but in a lot of cases. So you have to look at each qualifying event to determine if the subsidy applies or not. And it's the original qualifying event. And I'll say that with secondary qualifying events. So let's say someone has a secondary qualifying event that allows them to extend their COBRA coverage. If the original qualifying event was an involuntary term, they're eligible for the subsidy. It's going all the way back to that very first event and what happened. The 2021-31 notice gives some great examples of what an involuntary versus voluntary term is. We have linked this on the BIM page, I believe, on our BIM blog post page, but it's really important to understand that original event, what happened, how it happened, and then look at, is it voluntary or involuntary? So I'm just pulling this up real quick for any additional questions while I am want to read something to you. So the thing about the subsidy is the employee has to attest that they are eligible. The notice does say if an employee attests that they're eligible, the employer pays the premium, the employer takes the credit on the Form 720. Then we find out the employee wasn't eligible after the fact. The employee has to pay the penalty to the IRS. As long as the employer was unaware of the employee's eligibility on another plan or whatever it may be, they don't have to pay that back. So that's a good thing for employers to not have to worry about, am I going to have to pay this back if the employee doesn't tell the truth? How does that work? So they gave us some clarity on that. They gave us some information on, an assistant eligible individual, being offered dual coverage. So an original qualifying event date. So a perfect example would be, this is actually a family example that someone in my family called me and asked me. A husband was laid off, offered COBRA. They picked up COBRA as a family back in November. At that time, she picked up her health plan through her employer for herself only. So they had family plan under COBRA, and she had self-only coverage through her employer. Well, now it's getting time for the COBRA subsidies. His employer's telling him, yeah, you're eligible for the subsidy. But I said to her, you need to see if your husband can be added to the plan, and if he can, he's not eligible for the subsidy. And part of that is under one of the, I think it was the Consolidated Appropriations Act, we had extended special open enrollment rights. So even though her opportunity was back in October, November, if that's been extended, he's still eligible to jump on the plan, therefore not eligible for the subsidy. So I think employers need to be really careful and using caution when they're saying, yes, you're eligible, no, you're not eligible, if you don't know all the circumstances. So I also don't think you need to go through 20 questions. I think you need to just say, hey, are you eligible for other coverage? Yes or no? Are you on Medicaid or Medicare? Yes or no? No? Okay, great. You're eligible for the subsidy. Move on. If they say, well, I might be eligible for my spouse's plan. Okay, well, you need to understand if you apply for this and you get this subsidy and you were eligible to join that plan, you're going to have to pay a penalty. So hopefully that employee would then say, oh, well, let me go check, and you'd find out. So I think that's something to be cautious about when we're jumping into, oh yeah, you're eligible for the subsidy. Oh no, you're not eligible for the subsidy. The Q&A is really broken into several parts, which I think is really nice. There's a reduction in hours. There's the eligibility, the involuntary termination of employment. That's a good section. We have a section on, I think it's, oh shoot, let me see what it's called. I just saw it. Beginning the COBRA and premium assistance period, that COBRA premium assistance ending, and what happens to happen there. The extended election period, which is what I was just talking about. So there's that. Really good information. There's also extensions under the emergency relief notices, like when you have to get the notices out. That was due May 31st. So hopefully you've got those notices out to everybody. The one thing that I did find interesting is as going through this, and when it talks about mini COBRA and state COBRA, there's been a lot of questions about who's responsible for state continuation, which is an employer under 20 lives that does not have to offer COBRA. The insurance carrier is actually the one that's going to pay that premium and take that credit. So if you are a group that is not subject to COBRA, but subject to state continuation, you need to refer beneficiaries to the insurance carrier, and they should be able to handle that. So that's really all I have for today. I wanted to point out that notice. I wanted to talk about the PCORI fees and HSA fees. HRA limits increased. I'm happy to answer any questions. I know we still have just one person, and again, that's fine because we're off on Tuesday. We usually do every other Tuesday, like last Tuesday and this coming Tuesday, but I had to reschedule for this week. We will be on for next Tuesday. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We will not be on for next Tuesday, so we'll be 2 weeks from Tuesday. We have other commitments next week, so I hope everyone is well. I'm going to hang on for just a second, see if I get any questions, and again, I'm just checking the monitor behind my camera for questions. Oh, wait just a minute. Oh, I just opened it up. Did not mean to do that. Okay, well, I'm not seeing anything, so I will hop off here. If you think of something later, feel free to email me at deanna@bimgroup.us or contact your account manager. They can get in touch with me. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Again, hope everyone had a great long holiday weekend. Have a great week this week, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Thanks.